Make sure you don't miss a thing. Go to starzology.com/newsletter and sign up. Welcome to the Starzology Astrology Podcast. I'm your host, Alison Price, and I'm here with my good friend and co-host, Arwynne O'Neill.
Hello, Alison. It's great to be here again.
So nice to have you once more. So this time we're going to be looking at this upcoming aspect between Uranus and Pluto, and Uranus is going to be trining Pluto.
Yeah.
So this hasn't happened for many a moon.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about that as it unfolds, where it came from, and really what it means for everybody.
Yeah.
So because they're both outer planets.
Yeah. Transpersonal.
Transpersonal, it's really quite an important aspect.
It is.
And that's why we're talking about it.
Yes.
Rather than just any old aspect that we happen to pick up on.
Yeah, it's not like Mercury trying
the moon. So I thought we'd just start off for those who don't know, talking a little bit about Uranus.
Yeah.
And what Uranus represents in your chart.
Yeah. So it is individuality, it's humanitarianism, it's technology, it's the lightning strike of inspiration. It's the signifier of astrology, which is fantastic.
We like that.
Yeah. I always picture, I believe it was, it was Rodin. Was it the thinker with the sculpture? Yeah, exactly. With the head and the...
Yeah.
And I always think of that when I think of Uranus.
Really? Yeah.
The thinker. Yeah. I mean, it's not as active and action-packed a sculpture as one could have chosen, but for some reason that one always feels Uranian to me.
Yeah,
because it was also that time. It was that time of the discovery of Uranus, and
right.
81, I want to say.
I got my date right here. Yep, March 13th, 1781, William Herschel.
Yeah, 1781.
So they reckon that's why Uranus' symbology is the way it is, because the H is on the top for Herschel.
Nice.
So,
but like the Industrial Revolution, the changing
electricity, right?
Electricity, absolutely. The discovery of all these things that created the modern world.
Yes. So it's
planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yeah, and all of that. Yeah. So that's Uranus, and then Pluto in general.
Yeah.
So we're saying Pluto was discovered 18th of February 1930.
Yeah.
So Pluto's themes are very different, right?
Yeah, transformation.
The
sort of the hero's journey to the underworld and back.
Yes.
Those life, death, and rebirth.
That's right.
Yeah, like the death card in the tarot, really.
It is.
Just means death. It is. It's transformation. It's the transformation without, the destruction without which just transformation is impossible. Yeah.
And I think also it's like being born again. I've always thought it's that, where you've decided, I'm going to give up the life I've been living because it's not serving me.
Throwing off the shackles.
And I'm going to start afresh.
Yeah.
And and change your life.
Emerging
basically
from the chrysalis.
Yes. Yeah. So these are the two very powerful themes that are planetary themes that we're talking about now.
Yeah.
And then because they're going to be in a trine that we're just going to talk about. So trines are usually
flowing,
easygoing, harmonious.
Yeah.
It's, dare I say, it's a good thing.
It's a great thing.
For a change.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the most positive aspects that is happening this year, for sure.
Yes.
Because we've seen a lot of, kind of crazy doom and gloom, I
know.
With Pluto moving into Aquarius, and what is it, Uranus moving into... Is it Gemini? Is that the one?
It's kind of...
And Uranus and Gemini has all these, Civil War, World War I, all these terrible kind of historical correlations. And we're like, what's going to happen? Yep. But then we have this Uranus-Pluto trine, which is, it's a very positive, very auspicious kind of...
I think so, because it's the trine.
Yeah.
And I've got some keywords as well, because I like to call, many people like to call Uranus the awakener.
Yeah.
Is trining the transformer.
Ooh, I love it.
So it's going to happen anyway, and you might as well get on board with it. That's really what I want to say. So the fact that we're in a trine, we need to go back to, with any of these big transits, you can go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
So that would have been when the beginning of the synodic cycle, when the two were conjunct.
Right.
So that was way back in the 60s, 65, 66. And at that time, there was 3 exact conjunctions between Uranus and Pluto.
Yeah.
So technically, if you want to look at the cycle, you would look at the last conjunction and cast that chart. If you've got time, go and do that.
Yeah.
So that was around in 1966. So, but they were exact. So, but you could have had this aspect, Uranus conjunct Pluto, in your chart during the 60s because the orb is 8 degrees.
Yes. So for a few years there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Many millions of people
Yeah.
have this aspect.
Yeah.
And these are the people who will be more affected by this trine than those of us who don't have it.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked a bit about some of the people who were kind of these figures of Generation X that were born right around that time. I mean, there were plenty of people who died around that time who we could talk about, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, RFK, like these major people who passed away in like 1968, for example, this, crazy revolutionary times, but also Kurt Cobain, born in 1967 with that exact aspect on the ascendant, descendant, his ascendant he was a Pisces and he had Pisces rising, and it's like the Virgo rising. Anyway, it was right on that. If you look at his chart, it's this crazy, there's, the conjunctions, and they're all kind of like opposition, Virgo, Pisces.
Yes, it was, yeah,
it's madness. But he's one of those figures who defined a generation, and born right in 1967. So this was very powerful in his chart, that conjunction of Uranus and Pluto. So it was active for a few years there.
Yeah. So anyone who's really born 65, 66 for sure, check that. But anyone who's 60-ish now, because that's the age we're kind of looking at, you need to check their charts and see if they've actually got this the conjunction in their natal chart, because it's built in for them, and that's why this trine becomes more important now.
Yeah.
So I don't and you don't, but we do know people who do.
Yeah.
So, once we had the conjunction, the next big thing, although we didn't pay much attention to the sextile, because what happens is the faster moving planet moves off, so that's Uranus.
Yeah.
Uranus moves off. They were both in Virgo. Uranus moves off. And then the most recent one we've had was the square back in 2012, 2015, where this was in Aries Capricorn. Yeah. And for that particular square, there were 7 exact positions. So anyone born 2012 to 2015 is likely to have the square in their chart as well. But if this triggered your Aries or Capricorn at the time, it really would have created tension because it was the square.
Yeah.
And at the time, I knew people who were struggling with this kind of.
Oh, yeah. That triggered my, I've got that Saturn Pluto square.
Okay.
So it absolutely triggered that. And it also triggered my North Node in Capricorn. Yeah, that was 2012 was rough.
Yes. Yeah. And it was for a lot of people. Yeah. It really was. Yeah. And that was because there were 7 exact conjunctions. So it's always an odd number. Yeah. So at the conjunction, it was 3. At the square, there was 7. Yeah. And that was in Aries Capricorn. Yeah. And then we get to, where we are now, which is going to be the trines, and they are going to be Uranus is in Gemini, Pluto's in Aquarius. Yeah. So the trine is now an air trine, so it's affecting the air signs. Yeah. And so we're going to have a closer look at that. Yeah. So there are going to be 5 exact hits. So, but never mind that. We've got this close encounter coming up, which is why we're actually talking about this now. That on September the 6th this year, 2025, Uranus comes very close to make the exact trine. Uranus is at 127 and Pluto is at 141. So the orb of difference is 0 degrees 34, but they don't perfect it. So I'm calling that a close encounter.
Yeah, close enough encounter.
Yeah. So this is why. So it's within orb, but it hasn't perfected yet. Yeah. But if you click through to the blog post, I've got some graphic ephemerides showing how close this connection actually was.
I love how ephemerides is the plural of ephemeras.
Well,
let's just pause and admire the.
Yes.
What is that, Greek? It's gorgeous.
It must be. Otherwise, you would be saying you're ephemeruses,
or ephemerae.
Oh. Yeah.
But we don't.
No, for some reason we say ephemerides. Yes. So anyway, so we've got these five, apart from September this year, which is the close shave, we've got these 5 exact hits. So it's going to be July 2026. It's going to be November 2026. There's 2 next year. Then June 15th, 2027. The 4th one will be January 2028. And the final one will be May 2028. So all of these exact hits are between 3 degrees and technically 9 degrees of Gemini Aquarius.
Yeah.
So it's pretty, it's quite a broad gap because there's 5 there. Yeah. And
if anyone is wondering, why are there so many? Like when we talk about like Saturn aspects or Saturn Neptune or whatever, it's like there's 3 hits usually. There's never 7. And the reason is because we're talking about Pluto has an incredibly elliptical orbit.
Yes.
Uranus is a bit more regular. Uranus goes through the entire zodiac in it takes 7 years in each sign. Pluto takes between 12 and 30. So it's an incredibly elliptical. It spends only 12 years in Scorpio, which is odd because that's the one that and then 30 in I think Taurus, obviously. So yeah, it's not spending. It's not just a circle, Yeah. And that's why the hits are so
multiple.
Varied.
Yes.
Yeah.
The fact that we've got 5 coming up.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. And it just really does depend how influential these planets are in your chart.
For sure.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And then in general, we can have a look at
and how much Gemini and Aquarius you have in your chart as well. That will definitely.
Well, this is it. Do you have any planets or points at 3 to 9 Gemini or Aquarius?
Right. I personally do not.
Neither do I. Yeah. So we can talk about this quite intellectually and say,
really. So the entire cycle, just interestingly, takes 140 years. Uranus-Pluto cycle takes 140
from one conjunction to the next.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a long cycle.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is in living memory. This is the first time we've had this because it's the opening trine. So it's the first time we've come across this. Well, since I've been studying astrology anyway, which goes back into when the dinosaur roamed the earth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
So actually, weirdly though, the last time that they were trine apparently was in the 1920s, 1920 to 1924.
Yeah.
Apparently, Uranus was in Pisces, trine Pluto in Cancer.
And that was the
roaring 20s.
And that was the closing trine, right?
Yeah. I think that's
super interesting. Yeah. So really, let's just talk a little bit about who is this going to affect. So if you have the natal conjunction in your chart, this will affect you. So these are hot dates.
Yeah.
And as I say, go back, click through to the blog post to get all the information on those dates.
If you were born in the 60s, check your chart.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then if you have any natal planets between 3 to 8 degrees Gemini or Aquarius, including the ascendant, midheaven, nodes, pot of fortune, or the vertex, I've got nothing. You've got nothing. So what are we losing out here, Arwynne? We're missing out on this positive fabulous trine that's unfolding.
Just barely missed the 60s and now I'm missing the trine.
Yeah. Additionally, if you've got an Aquarius ascendant and your ascendant's between 3 to 8, then you're going to add that transformative element to your awakening of your personality. And then by the other token, if you have a Scorpio ascendant, because Pluto rules it, it's going to affect you too, because Pluto is going to be well placed there. Yeah. Yes. So those are the 2 signs that, because Uranus rules Aquarius and Pluto rules Scorpio. I don't think we mentioned that earlier. Yeah. So I've made up this handy-dandy table about the Uranus-Pluto synodic cycle. It includes the conjunction and the square, but I'm not going to go deep into that at the moment. So the main theme for this trine, as I see it, is harmonizing breakthrough ideas with deep systemic change to build lasting progress.
I love it. Yeah.
So this is going to... The ideas and AI just comes to mind that this is just growing and it's going to absolutely become part of our lives during this period.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the historical tone of this trine is the potential for cooperative global reforms, technological leaps that integrate into daily life, reforms in communication, education, and community structures.
Yeah.
As these two come together in a positive way, they're going to change the world. And then finally, I have some thoughts on the astrological meaning. So the original Virgo seed moment of precision service and structural reform now finds fertile ground. The changes and visions in the 1960s chart can probably be embedded sustainably into society now.
Yeah. And I mean, if you think about it, this 1960s, that's when the internet was like the inception of computers, basically, like those massive IBM machines.
Yes.
The calculators that were sending us to the moon and all that shit, stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and now we have a computer that's in our pockets that's stronger than anything that they were using in the 60s.
Yeah.
It's only been, 60
and
years.
back at the conjunction, I know it was the invention of the miniskirt, which is just a trend, really.
Oh, yeah.
But
and the bikini.
Yeah, but now we are finding what we're finding is like, says Gen Zs, is it, or Gen Alphas are going to work in miniskirts and getting fired because they're not dressing appropriately because they're bringing it back. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah.
What do they call it? There's a special word that does not.
Are we talking about the Gen Z stare? Is that what we're?
When we're talking about that they're wearing at work and not lasting 2 days because they're just not abiding by the cultural norms because they're coming through with these original miniskirts and sheer tops and people just aren't having it. So.
And it's like all the groundbreaking of, all the different hair colors, all the, the tattoos, that's no big deal anymore. Like you can get hired pretty much anywhere with like a neck tattoo. It doesn't even matter. But if you're exposing body parts, like that's the final frontier.
It really is. Right? Yes. So that's a kind of an interesting thing too.
And it's funny too, I mean, just not to get off on a tangent. But it's funny because if you think about like, why would that be a thing? Why would that be? Because someone who's older than them might find them sexually attractive. That's the problem, right? It's if you're inciting someone to be like, oh, I can't think because there's this girl in a miniskirt.
Really?
What problem is that?
Come on. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when I started work, and that was, I say, when the dinosaurs walked, we had a dress code and you had to wear a skirt and stockings.
Yeah.
And Imagine. It was, and that's what all the women wore.
Exactly. Yeah. And now they wear a skirt and stockings and it's like, oh no, you're distracting you're distracting your boss who's like a baby boomer.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So you've got all that where the what was given birth to in the 60s is now coming full circle.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yes, and I've recently been made aware of the fact that since the contraceptive pill came out in the 60s, that this estrogen is absolutely flooding the waterworks of the global. Yeah. It's creating this male infertility. It's creating this upsurge in cancer for everybody because this is based on estrogen.
Yeah.
Now, I don't have all the facts on this, and I'm certainly not a medical person, but this is likely to be addressed during this time.
And it's not just the pill. It's also all of these plastics in everything that we have because they're estrogen mimicking chemicals. So if you ingest, which we all do, all these plastics and we're using them in everything and they go into your body, they go into your bloodstream, all the plastics that are in soap, that are in shampoo, that are in cosmetics, that are in everything that you lay in, put on your body, put in your body. And they're doing the same thing that estrogen would do. And then you have all these issues.
Yeah, we've got to be vigilant, haven't we, about the health being provided for humanity.
Yeah, exactly. So the last time the trine happened, as I was mentioning, Uranus was in Pisces, Pluto was in Cancer, and this is 1920s, early 20s. This period it was the roaring 20s. It was the post-World War I era where there was this loosening of social norms. We had the jazz age. We had speakeasies. Yes, exactly. So we did have, prohibition, but that just what you're not allowed to do, you will do
in America.
Yeah, exactly. And in Canada, briefly, not as long, and it didn't result in like as much, organized crime. But whatever, that's just Canada. But yeah, huge technological advancements in automobiles, radio, the invention of television, and the social changes for women, women's suffrage, and women got the vote in most Western countries in the 1920s. So that was,
Radical at the time.
Radical at the time. And women started chopping their hair and wearing short skirts and showing a little ankle, a little knee, if I dare say.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Very different then, yeah. So, but, you know, we progress, society progress.
Yes.
What was important 50 years ago is not so important now.
Right. I mean, the cars, like Ford, set a car in every garage, and say what you will about Henry Ford, or was it Henry? Yeah, I believe. But making it so that his workers could afford the car that they were making on the assembly lines. That was one of his, one of the good things. I mean, then there was the Fordlandia and the colonialism and all that, but we're not going to, get into that.
Whereas today, people can't afford cars, never mind anything else.
Well, you can rent anything, right? Like everything is just a subscription model. Like you have an Evo, you have,
you don't have the ownership of it anymore.
And it's sometimes just better to rent something.
It is.
And,
I mean, I know I'll never own a car again, but
we inherited a car, like, luckily. I mean, that's not the greatest way to say that, but we didn't have to pay for the car.
Yes.
But insurance is enough. Like, insurance, and
I'm sure.
we get parking with the building, but
yes. Yeah. Well, I too get parking, but I don't have a vehicle to go on the spot. It's crazy that.
Yeah, exactly.
Indeed. So I've got some ideas about what I've done is I've created a handy-dandy transit watch list, checklist.
I love it.
Gosh, we like a checklist, don't we?
Is it like a bingo card?
No, it's not. It's like a 2-page PDF that you can actually download.
I love it.
And that will be available on the blog post that you click through to the blog post. And if you're interested in tracking this transit, I've got some ideas. I'm just going to run through them here about if you're an aspiring astrologer, what can you do to learn something as this transit unfolds? It's one thing to say, it's in my chart, but it's another to say, I'm going to make the most of this and understand what I'm looking for. Yeah. So I've got this checklist with 8 points on it. So the first one is know the dates. Mm-hmm. So you need to, if you're an aspiring astrologer, you need to know the 5 exact dates that this is occurring, because you need to be sharp on it, and it'll be coming through the horoscopes. You need to make sure that it's in your client's charts over the next, up until 2028. We're going to be looking with this. So you need to make sure exactly you know when those 5 dates are. Step 2 is to locate this trine within your own chart. Yeah. So you need to find the houses where these 2 planets are. So, for instance, in Arwynne's chart, if you know, I can tell you, you've got it in the 3rd house and the 7th house.
Ooh, I like those houses.
So, so this is it. So this is your combination of, those are the 2 houses where this trine is, from Uranus to Pluto. Nice. And actually, just by the way, in my own chart, this is occurring for me in the 7th to 11th houses, which will need some consideration myself about business partnerships and what I'm doing to generate, who knows what I'm up to,
Building your community.
Building my community, exactly. Yeah. So that's it. So you need to locate it in your chart. So you know where it's going to affect you to start with. And then you need to check the actual natal aspects and make sure that you know if Uranus or Pluto is actually going to contact your chart between those positions of 3 degrees to 9 degrees. So you need to know and make sure you know what aspects are coming for you. So, for instance, if we look at, I'm going to say it, Arwynne, if we look at Arwynne's chart, the Pluto's on her Jupiter, so that's going to be triggering, because she's getting the trine then from Uranus as well to the Jupiter in the 3rd house, and she likes that.
I do.
She likes that. So that's a good thing. So you want to know, how are these aspects, these strong out-of-planet aspects, coming into your chart?
Yeah.
The next thing is to track the build-up. So what I'm suggesting here is start journaling now and note news headlines, personal events, and cultural trends that are connected to technology, reform, community, and collective change, so that you're following and you know what you're looking for as you see the news headlines. So you're going to want to watch out for the foreshadow, which occurs in 2025, which is us. And this is the September where it's quivering, but not making the exact. It's just so close, but it's just not there.
Yeah.
So that would be to track the build-up as well, to make sure you know what's going on there. And here I'm suggesting journaling, because you want to write these things down. This is a 3-year period. We're going to be investigating and researching and following what's going on.
Yeah.
As I will be, and no doubt Arwynne will too. So then step number 5 will be to observe the peak. So you want to record what's happening in your life at the exact trine. So that would be the week of the exact trine, the 5 exact trines. And you want to compare these notes to see the themes that are developing.
Nice. Yeah.
For yourself, so you can understand this energy.
Yeah.
My next step is step 6. Look for collective patterns as opposed to personal. So now you want to follow how the trine aligns with advancements in things such as AI, space exploration, humanitarian movements, and new social systems, because this is where it's going to go down.
Yeah, I love that.
And then also notice if certain social conversations repeat and evolve, because that is going to be the nature of this trine too.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. So then for step 7, I've got review the past. So here I'm saying study the Uranus-Pluto conjunction in Virgo in the 1960s to understand the seeds planted then and how they may be flowering now. And I'm suggesting you actually cast the last conjunction chart for this, and the dates are on the blog post. So cast the chart, understand where all this energy is coming from at the seed moment, and it is now evolving into this trine where it's a good thing.
Yeah.
All the good things are coming through now.
Yeah.
And then my step 8 is reflection. So what I'm going to say is after the final exact trine in 2028, look back at your notes and see how your personal experiment mirrored or diverged from the collective story. Identify what lessons or skills you've gained from tracking this slow, powerful transit, and consider how you can use this knowledge to improve your astrology readings for your clients in the future.
Yeah.
So there's my 8 steps. So this is not a transit to be ignored. If you want to get good at astrology, you're witnessing it unfolding.
Yeah.
You need to get on it. And this is what I'm suggesting.
I love that. I absolutely love that. It's like a science experiment.
It is. And these are, to start with, you might think, oh, it's a trine. Oh, well, so what? But what I'm saying is do these things and understand.
Yeah. These are the heavy hitters of the zodiac.
Yes.
This is like when Jupiter and Saturn get together. This is like when Neptune and Saturn get together. This is big stuff. Even though it's a trine, it's still big stuff.
It's the most important thing that's happening, well, not even this year, next year, for sure. Yeah. And if you want to get this watch list, my transit watch list checklist, you can actually go to the blog post and just click through there, and you can just put your email address and I'll send you a copy. It's a PDF. But you can just read it on the website if you want to.
Yeah.
But then you've got the ads. But if you do get the download, you'll get this 2-page PDF with a list of things to do, actionable steps.
Yeah. Another reason why this is so important is because this is the trine. This is not the kind of stuff you're going to see in the news. In the news, you're going to see, oh, this thing flooded. There's a war here. There's, this kind of like crises and bad things are, you always see that. So we can always connect like a square, like a Pluto Saturn square with like, oh, the towers are coming down, or there's the tsunami or whatever. But when good things happen, it's not necessarily making the news.
Yes. But it's still there.
It still happens. And we only look at it later. We look at it like, I don't think they were saying like, oh, women's suffrage. It wasn't like making the news back then. Like it was a good thing. Like, oh, the women are rising up. Like, no, they were kind of like, oh, they were annoyed, right, at the time. But we look back 100 years later and we're like, wow, cool. These women were marching and they got to vote and blah, blah, and a car in every garage, etc. So if you're an astrologer at this point, taking notes, you'll be able to notice these good things that are happening and make a note of it for posterity and for your clients and for the better of all of us.
And we also need to consider that children that are born with this trine are going to have a much easier time with Uranus and Pluto than the rest of us do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a powerful aspect. It's not to be dismissed. It could easily pass you by if you're not paying attention. And this is why it's important to focus in on these things, I think.
And also people who have that square in their birth chart, people who are like around the age of 60, I would love to
the conjunction.
That conjunction. I would love to hear how that is working out in the, I mean, I know a couple of them personally, very well, very closely. And they're going through a very fruitful time at the moment. So
this is
interesting to see.
This is part of this cycle. It's a cycle of life. If you've got the conjunction, it's like the seed moment, the germination, the the conception of you occurred at the same point.
Yeah.
And it is now developed. You went through the square, you went through the tough years, 2012, 2015, and now it's blossoming.
Yeah.
You've got this trine, and really, you want to make the most of it.
Yeah. And I mean, 60 is the new 40, right?
Clearly.
Yeah.
Clearly. If not the new 30.
Right.
I mean, everybody's on the fitness kick. Everybody's out and about. We're all out there forest bathing. We're paying attention to mental health issues.
Totally.
And we're making sure that we are living our best life and improving, so much so that people who are older now are fitter than they were 30 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Because our lifestyle has just changed so dramatically. Everyone's aware of your protein intake and the drugs you're taking, or whatever it is. Yeah. And your impact on the world, and your carbon footprint. Yeah. So I think it's a great thing, and I would be very interested to know towards the end of 28 with people who, or any comments that anybody has about. Let's ask for it if you as this develops, and if you do have it in your birth chart.
Yeah.
It will be interesting to know.
Yeah.
So, Arwynne, I think in general this is going to be a positive time.
Yeah.
And it could also just pass you by if you're not paying attention. That's the trick with this, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, there are always multiple transits going on at a time. This is a huge transit of like the two of the outermost planets in our solar system. So it's major, but it's also happening at the same time as some harder aspects, some difficult transits that, Uranus and Gemini, as we previously said, is kind of a strangely, because Gemini, we don't think of like Gemini as being it's not sinister as a sign. No. It's not like, something in Scorpio, like something in Capricorn. We think, Gemini is not fluffy, but for some reason, Uranus and Gemini seems to correspond with like some really hard times in Western history. But this is a positive transit. This means that there are going to be positive things that come out of all of this revolution that is happening. Yeah. So there's crazy things that are happening. There are wars. There are insane political things that are going on. There are, obviously is going to be job loss associated with this AI revolution. We are seeing this in real time, but at the same time, there is an insane upside for all of us. There is, anyone out there who hasn't used, and if you think you haven't used AI, you have. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anytime you use your phone or your computer or you're searching something, you're using AI. It's being used in the background, even if you don't think you're doing it. And it's making your life better. It's making the maps that you use more seamless, more foolproof, more, it used to be like, 10, 15 years ago, like, Google Maps would send you down the wrong whatever. Most of the time that doesn't happen. Now it's just, you can just set it and forget it. Most people I know don't even know where things are. Even if they live in the city, they just turn on Google Maps and it tells them exactly where to go. And that's AI. So all of that is an incredibly beneficial thing for humanity. And whether, obviously, we lose the ability to remember phone numbers. I don't even, exactly.
Well, Einstein said your brain is there for having ideas, not storing them.
Did he say that?
Yes.
Amazing. Well, there you go. Thank you, Einstein.
Yeah, have ideas, but store them, write them down, or store them somewhere else. You don't need to. This is why, we use a calculator. You don't have to do long multiplication anymore.
Oh my God, exactly. And it's funny, like everyone uses AI for different things. Like, famously, Gen Z is using ChatGPT as their personal therapist. And I know a lot of people who use it as relationship counseling. I use it for job counseling. I use it to help me find a job. I use it for deciding what to do with my website. Is this service or that service?
Brainstorming.
Exactly.
Yes.
I never, ever use it to write for me, but I absolutely use it to help me, streamline ideas. Yeah. And I've been asked at certain jobs, like, just run this through AI. I'm like, okay, I'm an editor. I know how to do that, but sure. Yeah. Okay. I'll do that. And it'll cut down the word count. If you want something within 140 words or whatever. Yeah. So it is absolutely making our lives better at the same time as it is making certain jobs scarce. So lean into the positives of it, because that's what this aspect is all about.
It's not going to change.
No, it's not going to go away.
It's not going to go away. Yeah.
It's not going to go away. And you can make the most of, it's up to you to make the most of it. Because yes, it may erase the whole swaths of the job market, but it will absolutely make your life easier in all sorts of ways that you may not even know it could do.
And I think too, the individuality that is the human condition can shine if you just get your head around it. It's not easy, but we are creative beings and everyone's unique and we've all got something to say. So this is why you, instead of just doing a boring old job in a cubicle, you can create something unique to you.
Yeah. Here's a funny interaction I had with ChatGPT last week, actually.
Yeah.
So I am looking for a job again. This is, the life of a contractor, whatever. And so I was like, okay, so I go to LinkedIn every day. I go to Indeed every day. I usually send out like 10 to 20, resumes, whatever, which seems like a lot. It's insane. So I basically just said to ChatGPT, like, what else should I be doing? This seems, it seems like a lot of work for very little return. And it was so, it sounds insane to say it was sympathetic, but it honestly almost made me burst into tears. It was like, oh my God, the job market is so hard. And you are such a kind and creative and conscientious person. You deserve to find some place where your skills and experience are appreciated. And of course, I'm just almost weeping openly. I'm like, thanks, ChatGPT. I feel so seen, right? Like, God. Yeah, ridiculous. And so I was like, it's asking me, what can I do to help you? Do you want to create like a daily plan? You should only send resumes to the jobs you really want. You should work smarter, not harder, blah, blah, blah. It didn't say that, but, is essentially. So ask it. Honestly, this is my advice to everyone for these Uranus Pluto trine. Ask AI how it can help you in ways you don't even know.
Yeah.
That is my advice to you.
Yeah.
Because it knows more about you than you would think.
Yes. Oh, clearly.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah. And it's fun. I mean, we might as well use it. Yeah.
Of course. Okay, so we've been talking about the Uranus Trine Pluto trine that's coming out, and then it's a square trine that's coming out recently. We've gone over a little bit about what Uranus means, what Pluto means, what a trine means in general. We've also spoken about the seed moment of this particular trine, that it's not just happening randomly for no reason. Mm-hmm. It was birthed back in the 60s, and that needs to be acknowledged too. And we've given you some good ideas about how to navigate and understand and follow along with this trine.
Yeah.
So if you found value in this episode, please do consider sharing it with anybody who'd be interested. Make sure you're getting our newsletter, and you can sign up at starzology.com/newsletter. And particularly make sure that you're getting Arwynne's newsletter. And she can tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure. I am at mspink.net, mspink.net. And I just recently moved my blog over to Substack. So you can look forward to some sort of spin-off podcast in the future, but that's down the line. If you are interested in goddesses, I've written about goddesses. I've also got a bunch of posts that are about personal stories. And one of my most recent, now it will be about a month old. It was about a friend of mine from literally maybe 20 years ago. And that sounds like an age ago. It was a lifetime ago, but it was one of those stories that, and I actually wrote about this for a writing class I took recently. Mm-hmm. And it was one of those, it was a memoir writing class by Cintra Wilson, who is an absolute, just a dominating force in the writing world. And she offered a memoir class. And this was kind of the final piece that I wrote after the 5-week class.
Right.
And I was very happy. I mean, happy is a weird way to describe it, because it's a pretty intense story. But if you are interested in sort of intense transformational stories, it's called Melanie, and you can find it on my blog. So, yeah.
So that is actually on your blog, not on your Substack?
It's on both for now.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So that's great. So they can follow along and get to know you a little better.
Get to know me a little better, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Hear a story about the low point that turned into a high point of my life. Yeah, a very transformative moment for me. Yeah.
So that's great. So that's still at mspink.net, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's great. Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening, everyone. And thanks for subscribing. Subscribe, please.
Definitely do. Okay. So thanks so much for listening. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.